World War II shaped our world, but behind the school textbooks lie stories that sound like scenes from a movie. Today, you'll discover 10 unbelievable facts almost no one knows. And trust me, number 1 will surprise you more than anything else. American pilot James Howard found himself alone while escorting bombers over Germany in 1944. When more than 30 enemy fighters attacked, he didn't retreat. Howard defended the entire bomber formation by himself, shooting down several planes. When his ammunition finally ran out, he still kept diving at enemy aircraft to scare them off. The bomber crews wrote in their logs, "Where was the rest of the squadron? It was just Howard." He became one of the war's most legendary pilots. During the later stages of the war, Germany desperately searched for miracle weapons. One of the strangest was the V-7 flying disc, an experimental round aircraft shaped like a UFO. Engineers claimed it could take off vertically and reach extreme altitudes. The project failed, but after the war, these documents inspired conspiracy theories and decades of Nazi UFO stories across the world. It may sound funny, but homing pigeons were one of Britain's most effective tools. MI6 secretly dropped thousands of birds over occupied Europe. Locals would attach messages about troop movements, factories, or resistance activities, and the pigeons would fly hundreds of kilometers back to England. One pigeon, named Mary of Exeter, survived being shot and attacked by a hawk 3 times and still completed her missions. Japan created the E-400 class, the largest submarines of World War II. They were so massive that each one carried 3 bombers inside a sealed hangar. The plan? Launch surprise airstrikes on the U.S. mainland. The war ended before the missions happened, but the idea of an underwater aircraft carrier was decades ahead of its time. During the brutal fighting for Stalingrad, a Soviet T-34 tank was hit so violently that its turret was blown completely off the chassis. Most crews would abandon the vehicle, but not this one. The driver kept pushing forward, ramming enemy positions, and creating confusion long enough for infantry to advance. Miraculously, the entire crew survived the battle. One of the war's most unbelievable units wasn't made of soldiers. It was made of artists, painters, sound engineers, and actors. The U.S. Ghost Army used giant inflatable tanks, fake trucks, recorded soundscapes of armies marching, and even dummy radio transmissions to fool German reconnaissance. Their illusions misled the enemy more than 20 times, saving thousands of lives. Sidney Lewis joined the British Army by forging his age. He ended up fighting in one of the war's deadliest battles, the Somme-like conditions in France. Only when newspapers discovered how young he was did the government order his return home. His story shows how enormous the manpower demands were during the war. The Schwere Gustav wasn't just a weapon, it was a steel monster. Weighing 1,350 tons and requiring over 2,500 men to operate, it fired shells the size of a small car. One shell could destroy a bunker from nearly 50 kilometers away. Its massive size made it difficult to move, but when it fired, the ground shook like an earthquake. During the 872-day siege, the city was starving. Thousands died every week. Yet in 1942, despite near impossible conditions, musicians performed Shostakovich's 7th Symphony. Many players were too weak to hold their instruments. The performance was broadcast through loudspeakers across the front lines. German soldiers later said the music was a psychological shock, a sign that the city would never surrender. In 1943, German ace Franz Stigler intercepted a damaged American B-17 bomber. One more shot would have destroyed it. But when he saw the wounded crew inside, he made a choice against everything he'd been taught. He escorted the bomber safely to the sea, saluted the American pilot, and turned away. They met decades later, became best friends, and described their meeting as a moment of humanity in a world of chaos. World War II wasn't just a global conflict. It was a collection of millions of human stories, each filled with courage, mistakes, miracles, and moments of compassion. If you want a part 2 with even more unbelievable facts, I'll create it.